Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 548, Death is Potential to That Man. In many ways, we're back to poem 547, I've Seen a Dying Eye. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you worked through our set of introductory comments. I'm really hopeful that as well you've worked through our preceding 547 poems, as I just said. I'm hopeful that you can connect this poem to 547, I've Seen a Dying Eye. I want you to note the use of God 3 times in this poem. And I want you to note the tone. Is it sarcastic? Is it ironic? Or is it even maybe more to the point, realistic? As she says, death is potential to that man who dies and to his friend, beyond that, unconspicuous to anyone but God. Of these two, God remembers the longest, for the friend is integral, and therefore itself dissolved of God. Now, this is a disturbing poem on one count, because it's going to suggest that your closest friend, although remembering you once you have died, is going to be, kind of assumed, but that actually that friend can't remember you as long or as far out into the future as God can, because God never forgets. Having said that, though, there is this immediacy question of, yeah, but my friend is close to me, and therefore I'm hopeful can remember me for a while at least. Notice, death is potential to that man who dies. Now, we've pointed this out already. In 135 poems, Emily works with death or with dying. We just saw the dying of a dying eye in 547. Potential to that man. By the way, notice the word potential and friend, even in its spelling alone, the sounds work very well. Death is potential, can we say fundamental, to that man who dies, and to his friend. We read the word friend, we can't help but think, of course, Emily's closest friend, Sue, right? Beyond that, and then only time in all of Emily's poetry, unconspicuous is used to anyone but God. In other words, at the beginning when a person dies, it is potential that they will be remembered, especially by their friend. But ultimately, it becomes not so easy to remember, right? Only God can remember. Of these two, God remembers the longest because, or for, the friend is integral. A margin note, by the way, had the word subsequent instead of integral. And I like her use of the word integral here because there's an intertwining, right? And therefore, itself, that is to say, the friend, is ultimately dissolved. You'll remember dissolved from 370 and 444. We'll see it again in 628. We'll see it again in 749. And then dissolved of God. Now, it's interesting that it is of God, because there seems to be almost a suggestion, again, kind of an ironic notion, that in the end, God and whoever the friend is might themselves not be compatible in some way. Now, I think at 2a that she's arguing that it is the human condition to forget. Only God remembers everything. And at 2b, well, the repetition of God makes it an interesting poem to read. Again, in regards to especially tone. I'm going to leave it to you to decide how you read it. At 3, I can't help but read a set of lines like this and not think about Marcus Aurelius' line to himself, soon you will have forgotten all things, and all things will have forgotten you. Finally, at 3b, do you think it's true in the end that we forget things easily, even those that we're closest to, because that's just what the potential of nature and life is? Thank you.